Hey guys, it is Booligan with Booligan Airsoft and Airsoft Insider Magazine, giving you guys a long-awaited update on a custom real firearm build that I've been working on for a little while. You guys may recognize this as my 1926 numbers matching hex receiver Mosin Nagant. Now, it's obviously been butchered a little bit here, but butchered with the highest level of care and skill. You guys may recall I've done a couple of videos on this thing showing what we're going to be doing with it, and now it is, for all intents and purposes, functionally done. I still have a couple of fine touches that are going on here, but let's go ahead and let's go through a rundown of what I did to this thing, why I did it, and how this thing should shoot. Starting at the back, I added a recoil reducing rubber pad, however not to reduce recoil, mainly to add an extra inch of length of pull. Mosins are designed for very short arms, and I, being like 6'2", do not have very short arms. I have very long arms. So this adds a nice little extra inch of length of pull and should reduce recoil a little bit. Also, along that same vein, we've got a stock mounted cheek rest with storage compartment currently set up to hold 7 extra rounds, plus maybe some vodka, but mainly 7 extra rounds. Don't combine your drinking and shooting. Velcro here on the side for either an additional 7-round little holder there, or for a patch, a very cool patch that's made of leather that I'm having custom made. You'll see that one soon. I didn't change any of the geometry of the stock. Everything's basically the same, except for, well, this. See this guy right here? This is an extended fixed magazine from a company called Howling Raven, and it is made of a high-strength glass infused polymer. It uses a custom spring design, and it holds 10 rounds. So now instead of 5 rounds of 7.62 by 54R, this gun will hold 10 rounds of 7.62 by 54R. Double the capacity. Not bad. This guy is a little bit pricey. However, it is made in the USA, designed in the USA, and it does cost around $70, which in the old days of $70 Mosins, that would be crazy. In the current days, where most Mosins are $200 to $300, you just got to kind of decide if you want that extended magazine or not. Now, I actually had some feeding issues with the first one that I received. The company actually snapped to really quick, sent me a new one before even sending me a confirmation email when I responded that I have an issue. And this next one is better, but it's still showing some of those same symptoms that the other one is. So I'm going to be experimenting with how I'm loading it, with the rounds that I'm using, and with lubing this magazine as well to get it shooting perfectly. Right now, I'm getting about 7 good rounds out of it instead of the 10 full capacity. So obviously, still need to do a little bit of work on that. Up here, you now have a 20mm rail that clamps in place of the dovetail that's under the rear sight. Currently, I have it set up for a Reflex Sight because this is sort of a bush rifle, scout rifle type build. However, I do have a long eye relief scope that I can throw on here really easily, which is why I kept the extended length of the rail instead of chopping that off. Moving forwards, you really quickly run out of barrel. Instead of the 28.5-inch barrel that this thing had before, it now has a 16.5-inch barrel, terminated in 5/8 by 24 threads, which is the standard for 308s, and currently fitted with a dual chamber muzzle brake. Went with the muzzle brake for a few reasons. The first reason is, well, muzzle brakes look kind of cool. You guys picked this out of all the different options that were out there. You guys chose this one by popular vote. The price was right on it, and when I shoot this thing, it should throw out some nice big fireballs out the side there. It is going to be loud. The concussive force of this is going to be oppressive, to say the least. At night, this thing is going to be, frankly, unshootable because of how big this fireball should be. And that's why it's going to be fun. Mosins are fun guns, but unfortunately, sometimes the barrel quality is not great. That long barrel is a little bit of a pain to get around. This guy, much easier to point and shoot, much easier to toss in a bag. Actually, it'll fit in any of my gun cases now as opposed to the old one, which would not. And the nice part is this is modular. So ultimately, I like to throw a can on this. I did not do the threading myself. It was done by a very reputable shop on their CNC machine. They cut it. They did an 11-degree target crown for me, and they did the threading that is concentric to the bore, which is very, very important because I would eventually like to throw a can on this, because a moderately short-barreled suppressed Mosin, that's just a good time. I don't care who you are. That's just good fun. To make all this work, I did some modifications. I chopped about 8 inches off of the upper, this thing's still a little bit unwieldy, off of the upper handguard. I took off the metal base and I adjusted it and put it on the new point. A lot of carving work, a lot of sanding work. Obviously shortened the front or the lower handguard as well, and it is set up currently using 2 rings, one of which is slightly modified to fit and hold the whole thing together. I had to Dremel and file and sand and kind of hand machine out a new slot for the dog collar style sling. However, now it works. It is able to be slung, no problem whatsoever. It frankly just looks right. It almost looks like what would happen if this thing just had a few more years of development behind it before those pesky World Wars started. Because really this thing was designed in 1891 and did not change very much. So, a little bit long-winded video here. There's a lot of stuff to address on this Mosin. The next video we're going to have of this is going to be out at the range. Going to do some moderately high-speed footage. Going to be doing some tactical drills with it. See how well I can run through and ping the steel with it. Do some long-range testing with it. Do some night shooting with it. Just the whole kit and caboodle. I spent a little bit of time, or I spent a long time. This thing's been a work in progress for months, and this is a gun that I've had for realistically 13 years before doing anything with. So I've been spending a lot of time on this. However, now is going to be the fun time. Now is going to be the time where we get to go throw some rounds through it and just really, frankly, have a good time. For a 90-year-old gal, she still looks pretty good. I certainly think so. One last thing for the stock. I did not stain it. I know there were some questions about what color I was going to stain it. I ended up not staining it all. I ended up taking it down to the natural finish using a combination of stripper and sandpaper. And some other things to give it a very, very smooth finish. This thing feels better, frankly, than any Mosin has any right to feel. And I just finished it with a polyurethane finish, a couple of coats just to give it a little bit of protectant and to bring out some of the natural colors of the wood. And I love it. I love how this thing turned out. I love how it matches well with the sling. I love how it matches well with that pouch on the back. And I love how the thing really just looks like kind of an alternate history version of this storied battle rifle. So, stay tuned. We're going to get out to the range pretty soon here. In the meantime, marvel at it, gaze upon it, and hey, if you have a time machine back to the old days where Mosins could be bought for 90 bucks like this guy was, buy them and do fun stuff with this, because counting that price, I only have about $300 in this whole thing, and that's pretty crazy. So, thanks for watching. Stuff like this would not be possible without your guys' support, without your guys' views. So, pretty soon here, next couple of days, let's get out to the range and let's set some fires. Thanks for watching.